Call the regular meeting of council for the corporation of the town of Cobalt to order on November 12th, 2024 at 6:30 PM. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. None. Public
Got one
meeting.
for me? Sorry, for 9.1.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, for deputations and delegations, there are none. 5, adoption of meeting agenda, draft motion, be it resolved that council approve the agenda of the regular meeting dated November 12th, 2024 as presented. A mover and a seconder. Councillor LaFleur and Councillor Anderson. Any discussion on the agenda, clarification needed? All in favor? Carried. 6, adoption of previous council minutes, draft motion. Be it resolved that council approve the following minutes as presented. Regular meeting of council, October 15th, 2024. Special meeting of council, October 29th, 2024. A mover and a seconder. Councillor LaFleur, Councillor Anderson. Any errors, omissions? All in favor? Carried. Staff reports, draft motion, be it resolved that council accept the staff reports as presented. I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Hughes. Councillor LaFleur. Okay, 7.1 animal control, June 2024, discussion on that, clarification? No. 7.2 bylaw enforcement, September 2024. No discussion. 7.3 Cobalt Public Library minutes, September 18th, 2024. Okay, 7.4 staff report, 2024, 11, 12, 01, 2024 holiday schedule.
Yes, I can speak on that.
Yes, May.
As we do every year, we bring it to council about the holiday hours for the municipal office and for our public works department. This year is how the dates are for during the week. If council approves, we would be closed at noon on the 24th. And then on Wednesday and Thursday is your 25th, 26th. And staff would be using their own vacation time for the 27th, Friday the 27th, Monday the 30th, Tuesday the 31st for half a day because half of it is also part of the union as part of the collective agreement. Wednesday we would be closed January 1st as it is New Year's Day. The 2nd, we keep that closed also as per the collective agreement. But that leaves us Friday. We are requesting Friday. Staff would have, if they want off, would have to use their vacation time, and we would close the municipal office as well as Public Works. The Public Works would come out if required.
Okay, so Public Works will still be around?
Yeah, Public Works will be available around as they are every year. So.
Okay. 7.5 staff report 2024 11 12 02 bylaw 2024-42 for the provision of 911 services.
Motion can speak on that as well.
Yeah.
This is an administrative bylaw. Most recently was passed 5 years ago at the September 18, 2018 council meeting, and it was for the term of September 9th to 2018 to September 8, 2023. It was not renewed. It was not brought forward then, but now to get us everyone back on track, a few years after COVID, and now they've brought in another agreement on this as well. So this is to move forward. This is for the entire area for 911 costs. Mm-hmm. This is already into our budget.
And there's no significant increase in
No.
that? 7.6, staff report. Sorry, anybody else need any further clarification on that one? 7.6, staff report 2021. 2021?
2024.
2024, 11, 12, 03. Bylaw 2024-40, council vacancy procedure.
This is an update at our last meeting on October 15th, 2024. There was a request from council just as change part of the procedure of part 2, which has been changed as per council's request. For that bylaw.
All in favor? Carried. Items for council consideration. 8.1, request for proclamation, Pavilion Women's Center. Draft motion. Whereas violence continues to be the greatest gender inequality rights issue for women, girls, and gender diverse individuals, and whereas November is Women Abuse Prevention Month, and whereas November 25th, the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, and whereas femicide rates are on the rise in Ontario, with over 62 femicides occurring in Ontario in 2023. And whereas our community is committed to ending femicide and all forms of gender-based violence. And whereas Indigenous, Black, South Asian, and Southeast Asian women and girls continue to experience higher rates of violence, including femicide. And whereas last year in Ontario, on average, every 6 days, a woman or child lost their life due to femicide. And whereas in 5 of the last 6 years, at least one person from the district of Temiskaming was a victim of femicide. And whereas this month and throughout the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, we acknowledge our community support of the Wrapped in Courage campaign and commitment to ending gender-based violence. And whereas there is an urgent need for greater investment and action to end gender-based violence in our community and throughout Ontario. And whereas it is recognized that the courage of a woman alone is not enough, it takes an entire community to end gender-based violence. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Cobalt proclaim and declare that November 25th, 2024 shall be known as the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, and urge all citizens to recognize this day by acting to support survivors of gender-based violence. A mover and a seconder, Councillor Anderson and Councillor Starchuk. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. 8.2, holidays, 2024 holiday schedule, which relates to the staff report 2024-11-1201. Draft motion, be it resolved that council accepts the staff report 2024-11-1201 as presented and approves the holiday schedule for the municipal office and public works department, and that the public notice be given. A mover and a seconder. Councillor Lafleur and Councillor Wilcox. Any discussion? Enjoy your holiday. All in favor? Carried. 8.3, request for support, Municipality of Tweed, Ontario Provincial Police Policy Costs. Draft motion, whereas it is apparent that Ontario government has overlooked the needs of small rural Ontario, and whereas Ontario's small rural municipalities face insurmountable challenges to fund both upfront investments and ongoing maintenance of their capital assets, including roads, bridges, water, wastewater, and municipally owned buildings, including recreational facilities, libraries, and other tangible capital assets. And whereas small rural Ontario's operating needs consume the majority of the property tax revenue sources. And whereas small rural municipalities of 10,000 people or less are facing monumental infrastructure deficits that cannot be adequately addressed through property tax revenue alone. And whereas in 2015, the provincial government moved to standardized billing for all non-contract DPP 5.1 locations. And whereas the Ontario government has committed 9.1 billion to Toronto alone to assist with operating deficits and the repatriation of the Don Valley and Gardiner Expressway, and 534 million to Ottawa for the repatriation of Highway 174. And whereas the annual cost of the Ontario Provincial Police Municipal Policing Bureau for small, rural, non-contract 5.1 municipalities is approximately 428 million. And whereas this annual cost is significantly less than the repatriation costs of the Gardiner Expressway, the Don Valley Parkway, and Highway 174 Ottawa region, but provides a greater impact to the residents of the province overall. And whereas this will afford relief to small rural municipalities for both infrastructure and operating needs while having a minimal impact on the provincial budget. Now therefore be it resolved that the municipality of Tweed call on the Ontario government to immediately implement sustainable funding for small rural municipalities by reabsorbing the cost of the Ontario Provincial Police Force back into the provincial budget with no cost recovery to the municipalities. And further, that council directs staff to circulate this resolution to Premier Doug Ford, premier@ontario.ca, Minister of the Solicitor General, Minister of Finance, and to the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, amo@amo.ca, and all municipalities in Ontario.
There should be a mover and a seconder discussion.
Yeah, can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Wilcox, Councillor Lafleur, any discussion?
I take it the T that's at the end of the .ca doesn't belong, okay. I just crossed it out, I just wondering.
All in favor? 8.4, request for support, Town of Aurora. Request redistribution of the provincial land transfer tax and GST to municipalities for sustainable infrastructure funding. Draft motion. Whereas municipalities face growing infrastructure needs, including roads, bridges, public transit, water systems, and other critical services, and which are essential to community well-being and economic development. And whereas the current source of municipal revenue, including property taxes and user fees, are insufficient to meet these increasing demands for infrastructure investment. And whereas the province of Ontario currently collects the land transfer tax on property transactions in municipalities across the Ontario, generating significant revenue that is not directly shared with municipalities. And whereas the federal government collects the goods and services tax, GST, on property transactions, a portion of which could be directed to municipalities to address local infrastructure. And whereas redistributing a portion of the provincial land transfer tax and GST to municipalities would provide a predictable and sustainable source of funding for local infrastructure projects without creating a new tax burden on residents or home buyers. And whereas a redistribution of a portion of the existing land transfer tax and GST would allow municipalities to better plan and invest in long-term infrastructure initiatives, supporting local economic growth and improving the quality of life for residents. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town of Cobalt's Council formally requests the provincial government to consider redistributing a portion of the land transfer tax collected on property transactions to municipalities. And further, that the Town of Cobalt calls on the federal government to allocate a percentage of the GST collected on property sales to municipalities. And further, that this redistribution of land transfer tax and GST should be structured to provide predictable and sustainable funding to municipalities, allowing for better long-term planning and investment in infrastructure projects that would benefit local communities, thus ensuring that local governments receive fair shares of the revenue to address critical infrastructure needs. And further, that copies of this resolution be forwarded to the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Premier Doug Ford, the Ontario Minister of Finance, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, local members of Parliament, MPs, and members of Provincial Parliament, MPPs, and also forwarded to all 444 municipalities in Ontario. The Federation of the Canadian Municipalities, FCM, and the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, AMO, for their endorsement and advocacy. I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Wilcox, Councillor Starchuk, any discussion?
I wish real estate sales were predictable. They're
I-
not.
I think they're asking the government to come up with a way to give it back to the municipalities before the sales actually happen, kind of like the other fundings happen.
And GST is only charged on commercial properties and new builds that are sold by developers and not people who live in them themselves. So we won't be getting any GST, really, very minimal. Land transfer tax, I mean, we have so few houses that transfer. Fair share, how they're gonna, and obviously the government is using that money. So maybe they're not using it this way. They use it a way that they feel is fair and however they're distributing it. So they're just gonna end up having to increase GST on a larger scale and land transfer tax. It's a nice idea. I just don't think it will help Cobalt, and I just don't think it will work. I just don't think it's right.
We're only one of 444 municipalities in
Exactly.
Ontario too,
Yeah.
so if we want their support,
We gotta try to support them,
yeah,
That was my thought too, yeah.
so, but
even if we don't win.
very valid thoughts.
Yep.
Anything else? All right, all in favor? Carried. 8.5, request for in-kind assistance, 5 Dunning Drive. Draft motion, be it resolved that council will or decline to provide in-kind assistance to use the public works machinery and labor to remove the demolished material at 5 Dunning Drive, formerly known as the Cobalt Public School, and to transport it to the Temiskaming Shores landfill. Landfill charges will be the responsibility of the owner. We received a letter from the owner requesting such in-kind assistance, which you will see in your package. I need a mover and a seconder, Councillor Anderson and Councillor Hughes. Okay, and I'll open the discussion. I'm going to go around the table on this one. Councillor Wilcox.
Betwixt and between on this one. Clearly, municipalities do support organizations that are going to have a net benefit to the community. The Olympics as being one example. A lot of Christmas activities is another example, drawing people in and generating economic activity. So from that point of view, yes, it's something a municipality can look at. On the other side, we do have contractors locally who do this sort of thing. And I'm not sure we want to be in competition with local contractors. They need to make a living too. And I question, and it's not a big matter, but there's a liability inherent in doing any of this kind of thing. And I would hate to see municipal equipment or workers be hurt in any way while doing it. It's an added liability to the town. So on balance, I'm going to, before I take a position, listen to everybody else's thoughts.
Councillor Anderson.
Okay, my thoughts, yeah. Is this the same developer that came with the former owner? So this is another, so we have no guarantee that he's going to actually develop the property afterwards anyway. You would hope. Because the one that came before, that was a really nice looking development too, definitely would be for our benefit, but I see what you're saying too. I think most developers, in the cities, go to the city and they get extra help and stuff like that, and that's kind of what he's expecting. I agree. We've only got, I'd like to say yes. But how many guys do we have working for us on the works crew? And they keep busy all the time. There's always lots to do. So it's like, technically, yes, we're paying them. We're paying for the vehicle. So it wouldn't really cost us that much more. But are they going to have the time to do it and do the job properly? So yeah, I'm sitting on the same fence there too. But I'd welcome it if we could get that developed down there.
Councillor Lafleur.
What's he gonna do with it after he's done? Has he got a suggestion? Has he turned around and brought anything up?
Yeah. That's why.
Communicated anything?
He just wondering to develop the property for possible residential affordable housing and generated sustainable economic opportunity in the town of Cobalt and surroundings.
Wasn't he told that he can't build on there?
Oh, no.
This is a different
Oh, is
person who came forward
Yeah.
a year and a half ago.
that was the real estate guy from down south, correct? Guy who works for a real estate company or something?
He came here a year and a half ago.
Yeah, who parked that trailer there that accidentally caught fire. See, that's what I'm questioning. And now somebody hauled that away, the trailer that went by my house a couple days ago. And, but if we help him turn around, is it gonna benefit us?
No guarantee.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm just trying to figure it out, because I hate to use our guys, like she says, if one of them gets hurt.
Well, we're paying for our guys. They're not working for free.
Well, no,
So,
it's not the idea. It's just the idea that if somebody gets hurt because they're moving this demolished building apart, or, getting rid of it, which I agree, it's an eyesore right now. And yeah, getting rid of it would be a benefit, but in the long run, what's it gonna do for us? And he won't do it.
The buyer should have done their due diligence before buying it. And there was asbestos tile in the flooring in that building, and I don't want our guys going near it.
I think we're down to bricks, aren't we
I
now?
think the town doesn't own that property. The town doesn't own that property, so I don't know why it's their property. They should be doing like the bill, like getting rid of them themselves instead of asking the town to do it, right? So I don't think we can afford that. Nor do we want to get our equipment all used up and bashed up and people hurt and that. So yeah, I'm against it.
yeah, I pretty much agree. We're not gonna pay, we don't have enough money to be paying for somebody else's mess. That guy wants to develop land, doesn't give me great confidence that he can't afford to clean up the garbage, that he can afford to develop anything. So I imagine it's probably just to clean it up and then he'll sell it to somebody else probably. So I say no, for sure.
Well, and the accountant in me says, comes down to dollars and cents and pennies and dimes. We don't have them.
We don't, I know.
We can't afford to do it. And I have a very cynical school of thought, no good deed goes unpunished.
And
It's honest, unfortunately been proven. We go whatever way to help, and then what happens if our equipment breaks down or one of our guys gets hurt, or, we're shorthanded now. And winter is now coming, as we've seen from the snowfall yesterday. We can't duck it any longer as much as we might like to. I think we've postponed it long enough. And so our guys are gonna be busy.
Yeah.
So we have our critical infrastructure that we've got to take care of for all of our residents. Okay. Counselor Anderson, I'll start with the hands I seen flying up. Oh, do you want to speak again?
Oh, always.
Okay.
I love an opening like that, yes. Gosh. Basically, yeah, we're pretty much following the tone. I would feel much more comfortable if the asker had presented us with a concrete plan. And I've seen some, other than just clearing trees and things like that. But actual plans and what they're going to do and a whole lot more effort on their part. I don't mind the idea of cleaning it up for somebody if we actually know the development's going to happen. I'm not comfortable that we know that. So on that basis, and I'm not sure what shape our equipment's in either. If we start throwing a big pile of concrete into some of our trucks, we may not have much of a truck left at the end of the days.
That's right.
Counselor Anderson.
Okay, yeah, so on that vein, we should invite him to come to council and at least let us know what his plans are and, you know,
Will that change our answer?
No.
probably not, but still, I'd really like to see what he's got in mind here.
Maybe you can type something up, send it in.
Well, he did provide a letter. So if he really wanted to make us aware of his plans, he would have put it in his letter. It's my feeling, but anyway, that's fine.
The other thing is if one of our piece of equipment breaks because we're moving this stuff, is he gonna pay for it? We paid a lot of money for our equipment. Not to get it destroyed because somebody purchased a piece of property that has a abandoned building. It's like a crumbled up building. He bought it, didn't buy it sight unseen. He saw it. He knew what had to be done. And like you say, we can't afford it. Go ahead,
Councillor
Angela.
Hughes' hand was up first.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, are we imposing fines or anything on this guy, this mess? Are we gonna start or have we done it yet?
Okay,
We should be.
let me be clear on this. We put an order on it and lay a fine. Then if it's not cleaned up in 30 days, we have to then go clean it up at our cost,
Or
which is what we're trying to avoid.
Does the property default into our ownership?
No,
No, that seems a bit, wonder who said that.
the cost can be put against the taxes, but there's no guarantees.
Well, should have something for encouragement on his end.
Please don't have him come and talk to council unless he's gone to the planner first and paid for his planning fee and actually has a proper application, because I'm not interested in a half-hour presentation with some cut and paste images.
I don't blame you.
Exactly.
I concur.
Okay, so,
May I just add something?
yep.
I just want council also to remember what our auditor spoke to us about, is undertaking anything extra fund that would cost a municipality any other expenses. So just something to keep in the back of our minds.
All right.
Pennies and dimes, dollars and cents.
That's it. You know that better mind.
So we'll put it to a vote.
Right.
So I'm not quite sure. So council will provide in-kind assistance? Show of hands. Declines to provide in-kind assistance.
Could I just interject? Generally, we would have the motion will provide and then we would defeat it as opposed to passing a negative motion. Just,
Okay. So you want me to read it twice? Okay. Be it resolved that council will provide in-kind assistance to use public works machinery and labor to remove the demolished material at 5 Dunning Drive, formerly known as the Cobalt Public School, and to transport it to Temiskaming Shores landfill. Landfill charges will be the responsibility of the owner. All in favor? Defeated. Draft motion, be it resolved that council declined to provide in-kind assistance to use Public Works machinery and labor to remove the demolished materials at 5 Dunning Drive. Formerly, I'm already almost done now, formerly known as the Cobalt Public School, and to transport it to Smithsfield Shores landfill. Land charge and fill charges will be the responsibility of the owner. All in favor? Carried, we declined.
Yeah, but when we refuse to say yes, we don't need to decline it as well. That's
Well,
double.
I'm just being clear, transparency.
It makes us feel better.
Yeah, I'm just being completely clear what we're doing. Because these things tend to get a little confusing sometimes.
You do, right.
Okay. 9. Items for council information. 9.1, Integrity Commissioner Report, Deputy Mayor Pat Anderson. Yeah. Okay. I gotta find that now. How far down my agenda?
Right, that's colorful.
Use mine.
It's in here. I just gotta find it.
I saw it in here too.
Okay, Gary, I'll take it. I could be here forever
On the
looking.
colorful edge.
I have wrong glasses on as usual. Okay. October 31st, 2024. It's addressed to council. Re-Integrity Commission Report, Deputy Mayor Pat Anderson. Our office received a request from a member of the public to conduct an inquiry of Deputy Mayor Pat Anderson's actions regarding a transit matter following the May 2nd, 2024 Budget Council meeting, and again during the May 28th regular council meeting. It is the responsibility of the Office of the Integrity Commissioner to determine if the alleged action of the Deputy Mayor, if proven to be true, would constitute a violation of the Town of Cobalt's Council Code of Conduct, and if so, whether an inquiry would be carried out. In this circumstance, we determined that the Deputy Mayor's actions would constitute a contravention of the Code of Conduct with regard to respectful and courteous communication. 3 witnesses confirmed the conversation had occurred after the meeting on May 2nd, 2024, and their evidence corroborated that of the complainant. The second allegation, occurring May 28th, 2024, was directly related to the first, and the recording of the May 28th meeting was used as evidence for this incident. When confronted about the matter, Deputy Mayor Anderson immediately said she regretted her actions on both occasions and agreed they were uncalled for. She appeared sincerely sorry that they had happened, and as a result, she prepared, met with, and delivered a formal apology letter to the person affected. The complainant agreed to this process, and we have confirmed that the apology has been accepted and the matter dealt with. Therefore, we are not recommending any further action by council at this time. Respectfully, Colleen Hannigan, E4M Integrity Commissioner, Consultant, Municipal Governance and Planning. So, draft motion. Be it resolved that council accept the Integrity Commission report, Deputy Mayor Pat Anderson, as presented. A mover and a seconder. Councillor Lafleur and Councillor Hughes. Any discussion? Councillor Wilcox.
First, I would note that we've had 3 such engagements with our IC, and in each case, councillors have been punished in some form for what occurred. Both Mayor Gibson and Councillor Cooper were fined, I think, 2 months honorarium each. And I'm thinking, and I know both of them had expressed to me that costs have been incurred to the municipality for the report, for the investigation, and they felt that those fines should be applied to those costs of the town. So I'm wondering, was there a charge to the town by the integrity commissioner? And if so, I would suggest, because she's apologized, that's great. That certainly ameliorates things. But I would suggest perhaps docking 1 month to apply against the cost of the investigation.
Councilor LaFleur?
I'm not sure what was said. I'm coming in after the fact. So there's not very much I can say about it. Thank you.
Yeah, and I don't remember the particular incidents, and it's not really outlined here on how she offended people. I hear what Councillor Wilcox is saying, just as far as consistency and fairness in the consequences doled out. So I'm gonna think about it.
Councilor Starchuk?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about this too. I see that she's taken it upon herself to apologize and write the letter, and she realized she made the mistake. It says right here, this is great, but there is no recommendations or anything. I understand what you're saying also, but I believe in some cases that there was no admission of guilt from those other instances either. But this Deputy Mayor Anderson actually admitted there was a problem and dealt with it. So I'd like to do this stuff, think about it for a while too. I don't.
Councilor Hughes?
It seems like this was maybe more of a slip of the tongue, and it was apologized, and apology was accepted. So I don't see any sort of ongoing things here or any real need to punish. The other incidents were a little bit more severe than just, I'd say, a blasé slip of the tongue, or said something you shouldn't have said. That I don't really even know what was said, to tell you the truth. So. But it seems like both parties are happy now.
Yeah, like I'm saying it myself, I don't even know that there's no details here. Even I can't even make a judgment myself. It's like, oh yeah, that was bad or good or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing here to tell me anything. You got to rely on what they're saying.
Okay, well, I look at it this way. They're the integrity commissioner. They do the investigation and they make the recommendation based on their findings. So I'm happy to accept their recommendation and just accept the letter and move on. It's been dealt with. The apology's been addressed. The complainant is happy. So I think that is the main goal. I think a lesson's been learned that we all need to guard our tempers, and we all have bad days, but we still have to be courteous regardless of what kind of day we're having. And even if it means we gotta bite our tongues really hard or the inside of your cheek. And just make sure that we don't say anything that's gonna be taken the wrong way. A sober second thought, always speak to other people the way you want to be treated and spoken to. Okay. So I'm happy with just taking the recommendation.
And I'm not convinced with the argument that because there was costs incurred, because anybody unfortunately is allowed to make a complaint regardless of like the severity. It might have turned out that it wasn't even considered. Like, just the fact that we've incurred a cost isn't enough. And I don't think we should be encouraging people to make complaints all the time, because it does cost us money. We're never going to recuperate it through fines that we impose on councillors. And I don't want it to become a habit, or I don't want people to do it unless it's honestly serious.
Okay, so we'll vote in favor of just accepting the report. That's I did get a mover, and did I not get a mover in a second here?
I think
Yes, I did.
I moved it, I think.
Yes, I did. It was Councillor LaFleur and Councillor Hughes, was it not?
Correct.
Yes. Okay. So all in favor of just accepting the report? Carried. 9.2, oh, you want to, yeah. Nine point two, DSAB 2024 refund. Draft motion, be it resolved that council accept the DSAB 2024 refund information as presented. A mover and a seconder. Councillor Wilcox and Councillor LaFleur. Any discussion on the DSAB refund?
Your worship?
Yep.
October 21st, I received a letter from DSAB stating we were getting a check in the amount of $22,521 for Town of Cobalt's refund. Their board approved actually an $800,000 refund out of the reserve for working funds at their meeting on September 18th, 2024 for the district that they oversee. So.
Any further comments? Okay, all in favor? Councillor
It's
Hughes?
nice to get a check.
All,
Usually they're going out, they're not coming in.
it's okay, we'll take them coming in. All in favor? Carried. 10, bylaws and agreements. 10.1, bylaw 2024-42 to renew an agreement with the Ontario Provincial Police for the provision of primary public safety answering point services 911. It's related to the staff report 2024-11-1202. Draft motion, whereas council received staff report 2024-11-1202 with a recommendation to adopt bylaw 2024-42. Be it resolved that bylaw 2024-42 being a bylaw to renew an agreement between the town of Cobalt and the Ontario Provincial Police for 911 primary public safety answering point services at a per capita cost of 0.561 cents, estimated to be $554.83 for 2025. Be taken as read a first, second, and third time and finally pass this 12th day of November 2024. And further, that the said bylaw be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk. A mover and a seconder, Councillor LaFleur and Councillor Anderson. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Carried. Bylaw 2024-40, council vacancy procedure related to staff report 2024-11-1203. Draft motion, whereas council received staff report 2024-11-1203 with a recommendation to adopt bylaw 2024-40. Be it resolved that bylaw 2024-40 being a bylaw to provide for the filling of council vacancies during a term of council be taken as read a first, second, and third time and finally pass this 12th day of November 2024. And further, that the said bylaw be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk. A mover and a seconder. Councillor Hughes and Councillor Wilcox. Discussion. All in favor? Carried. 11, unfinished business. There is none. 12, new business. 12.1, schedule of accounts. Draft motion, be it resolved that council receives the following schedules as presented. Schedule number 2024-20 in the amount of $223,322.62. Schedule number 2024-21, and the amount of $190,921.44. A mover and a seconder. Counselor Lafleur? Counselor Starchuk? Any clarification, questions? Counselor Anderson?
Did we get the grant check for the ultrasound?
Yes, and that went
Yeah,
passed
so
through
it
us
just-
too.
Okay. Anything else? Carried. 13, Mayor's Report. I know there's been a lot of talk in town about everything that happened a couple of weeks ago. And I'd just like to say that this is one of the reasons I really love living in our town. And I'm proud of our residents for pulling together and supporting the victim and the victim's family.
Couple of weeks ago, couple of nights ago.
A week and a half ago. You know, we all pull together, we support emotionally. I know they've had an amazing response to their financial fundraising. And it just does the heart a lot of good to see everybody pull together. So I'm proud to be a Cobalter. It's just sad that bad things have to happen for us to see it. But it's there under the surface. It's always there.
I like about this town.
Okay. And Remembrance Day was a phenomenal turnout. It was a very well done ceremony. It was a nice day. Yeah, that was very good.
Really fast,
And
like,
they
holy crap.
managed to stay dry.
Yeah.
So, 14, closed meeting, draft motion. Be it resolved, council convene in closed session as per section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001, as amended, in order to address a matter pertaining to subsection 2A, security of the property of the municipality or local board. 2I, a trade secret or scientific, technical, commercial, financial, or labor relations information supplied in confidence to the municipality or local board. Mover and a seconder. Councillor Starchuk and Councillor Anderson. All in favor? Carried. We won't be returning to recorded video after the closed session. We will, so that the public's aware, and we'll take a 10-minute recess.